Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a data file to be read into RStudio for some kind of analysis. So I have an example here from my own research, and the way you want to organize, there's two ways I would recommend making a file. One is to just use a simple text editor, like in this case, I've used Notepad to create what's called a CSV file, .csv, which is a comma delimited file. What that means is that commas separate the data. That's all there is to that. So in this file, you can see I have several variables here. I have a variable for sub ID, which is really useful for tracking your data. So you want to have an identifier of some kind. So like, for example, subject 101, that is their data 102 and so on. So this is an entirely repeated measure study. So you're going to see duplicate entries for subjects. The next variable I have is tests. So they completed two tests. There was one first and one second. And that allows us to analyze for order effects. There were three different kinds of priming stimuli. We either had match primes, semantically related primes, or orthographically similar primes, abbreviated here as OS primes. This was a recognition study, so the next variable is item. So you have a hit, which a hit is a old word called an old word. Miss is an old word called new. A correct rejection is a new word called new, and a false alarm, abbreviated FA, is a new word called old. So you would have that for each test. And then you have a proportion. So this is out of 1. So 59 and 40 are going to sum to roughly 41, are going to sum to 100% of all the old items. Similarly, 69 and 30 are going to sum to 100% of the new items. And then you have a reaction time that goes along with each one of these as well. As you can see, each line has a comma. There's no comma at the very last entry. Otherwise, you would have some blank data. So you can just type in on the first line the variable names that you want. It doesn't matter what you call them. You're just going to be referencing them, though, when you do your analyses. And then you type your data on the line, adding a comma, separating each data file, and then you just would save this as a plain text file with the name CSV for a comma delimited text file. Another way to do this is in Excel. And so you would just enter your data in columns. This might actually be better in Excel because you can sort things, etc. Then when you go to save it, so this is the same data, you just go save as, and you would select your destination, and you're going to select comma delimited down here in this window, name it, and of course save it, and it'll be a comma delimited file that can be read in by RStudio. So that's all there is to creating a data file that can be read into RStudio. The next video I'm going to show you how to actually read it in.